So, welcome to a really exciting episode of Making the Metaverse. I was so happy with the way that the Riverside application ran things yesterday. I'm doing it again with Miji today, who is the founder and CEO of Core Meta, which is doing really exciting work in the XR space, particularly in the education space. And we'll talk about that today. Welcome to the show, Michi.
Hello, everyone. Yes, my name is Miji, as Michael introduced me. I'm the founder and CEO of Core Meta. We create immersive learning experiences at the intersection of culture and education using innovative technologies such as extended reality, we call it XR, and artificial intelligence, AI. Our goal is to make your learning, engaging, enjoyable, and truly effective so that it can truly reach the goal of education.
Wow, that is so much better job than I did.
It's
That's
my introduction,
fantastic.
so.
um, Sounds like you've been on this road for a little while and had a lot of practice to explain that, because it takes time, right, to be able to sort of like articulate that in a crisp, clear, clean, concise way. Maybe also having some experience weren't you like a journalist or a news reporter or something once upon a time? Didn't you work for like a newspaper like maybe some time ago?
I don't remember actually mentioning this. I never really talked about it anywhere, but that was back in, I don't know, 1999. I used to work as an intern reporter for Korean Times in Vancouver. Yes, because they had their first writing competition, and I was the first place there. So they kind of hired me as an intern reporter. So I reported that. Yes, that happened a very, very long time ago.
Oh, so you won your way into that role.
Because I was the first place in the writing competition.
Hey,
So
very
they liked
cool.
how I wrote.
And
Yes.
it was on stories related to that were of interest to the Korean community. Is that right?
Yes, so I wanted to deliver the news that happens in not only Korean community but also Canadian culture, so that the Korean immigrants can be more informed about what's going on in Canada. So
Oh,
I reported some events that was done by Pottery Master in Korean community, but also talked about my observations of the Korean community, Canadian community, and I delivered that to Korean community so that they get more informed.
okay, interesting.
Yes.
Were you at UBC then?
Yes, so at UBC. I did my bachelor's in UBC. I grew up in Burnaby, a place called Burnaby in British Columbia, and I went to UBC. And I actually studied not a tech at all. I studied international relations. I did double major in international relations. Yes, IR and East Asian studies, focusing on Japanese language.
Okay, interesting. Some of the pieces are starting to come into focus a little bit, some of that backstory. Um,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. For sure.
so um, After that, did you work in a bank for a little while?
Oh, yes. You know about me very well. Yes. So right after, just before I graduated from UBC, I was teaching English to at a private school, and somehow this teacher, she really liked how I was teaching, and also she thought that I was had very good work ethic. So she introduced and recommended me to position at TD Bank because I could speak both Korean and English. So, and then I got interviewed and then I got hired. So I learned more about economics and finances a little bit. And I worked there, yeah, a little bit. Yes.
Okay, interesting. Yeah, you got a broad skill set. Because then you also went to University College London for master's work. Is that right?
Yes, that's true. But before that, after TD, I realized that I wanted to work for the government actually, because I'm more of an IR girl, and I went to Korea, and I actually went to Korea for a personal reason because my sister lives there. But while I was there, I had an interview with the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. Of South Korea, and then I interned there. And I got into economic organization division. So because I was very passionate about what I was doing, I got to coordinate for OECD closed talks, and I got to wrote some policy paper. I researched. I attended some talks, and actually in firsthand, I got to see what diplomats do. So I did that, and I realized I wanted to learn more about it. So after my internship, I went
Okay.
to the UK, United Kingdom, and then I studied development administration and planning at UCL, and I got my master's there. So I studied more about how to develop countries, national policies, social policies, and I also got to go to Uganda to assess the Millennium Village project that had to do with the Millennium Development Goals. And that's actually, you mentioned about United Nations, so my interest and passion ties there. So I
Uh,
studied and I had an experience and I had a great time studying, yes, development studies.
oh, interesting. So the planning part that I assume is around urban planning or
Not necessarily urban
nations
planning.
planning or
Yes,
okay.
nations planning. So, but I mostly focused on overseas development aid, which basically countries they provide other countries some funds so that they can develop, or it could be infrastructure assistance as well. So I was more focused on that.
Okay, interesting. Okay. So you're very worldly.
I don't know about worldly, but I was very passionate about it for sure because I wanted to develop countries. I wanted
Huh.
to be a help. Yeah. Assist
Okay.
in developed countries so they can people in those countries can live better.
Okay. So this is interesting. So then, so you mentioned just for a moment that you were teaching English, and I know that you've done some worked as a translator as well. Was that after working in Korea, or is that part? Did that start there? I feel like you've done
Um,
translation in maybe a different couple of different places.
that's true. I when I was working at Korea, so I did when I was working at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, I did translate some government like contract treaties. I translate some of that too. But also after working at UCL, I also worked at an NGO called Climate Change Center.
Right.
And so there too, I also translated and I also interpreted some of the founder or the leaders' conversation with non-Korean speakers. So I did that too. But also afterward, everything kind of halted and I became a stay-at-home mom. I did a telephonic interpretation. It was consecutive interpretation and helping people who struggled in any parts of the world, actually in Canada, the States, like UK, in France or wherever. And then I helped them to communicate between Koreans who could not speak English and those people who speak English. Yes, there's that
Okay.
experience
All
too.
right.
Many experiences.
Um, so I think that if you've been spending a little bit of time now working for a local school board, so you're more in the education space, maybe a little more in the, let's say, the public education space, a little more formally for a little while. What's that been like?
I've loved it. I'm loving it, to be honest. Because I love kids. I really do love kids
Okay.
and being surrounded by them. I've done private tutoring even a lot before 2, 3 decades ago. And they give me joy and they give me energy. So I really want to them
That's great because
enjoyable learning.
a lot of
Yes.
people. There's this old movie called Kindergarten Cop with Arnold Schwarzenegger, and he supplies
Uh-huh.
as a kindergarten teacher. and it's a comedy, and he comes home at the end of the first day and he just like collapses on the bed. He says they're monsters.
I mean, they can be at the beginning when I started teach at the school board. Yes, I remember a couple of weeks I could not really move after teaching, but and I had to lie down in my bed, and I just could not move. I had to rest for about 3-4 hours, and then I can gain my energy. But now they really energize me because they really like me, and they like me. I like them too. So yes, it's really really fun to interact with them, and then whenever I teach something, they enjoy it, they learn it, and then sometimes they let it out, whatever I taught them, and the joy and the satisfaction I get from them, it's very, very amazing.
um,
Yes.
so we've got a couple of the pieces sorted. Then the picture is coming into focus. We've talked about culture, Korean culture, Japanese culture. We've talked about language. We've talked about education, but we're missing a piece. So, tell us about the first time that you put on a VR headset, and how did that happen?
Mm-hmm. So so as you said, I was teaching Korean, and I'm still teaching Korean actually, and COVID happened,
Uh,
and everything moved from in person to online, and I could see my students suffering. They got really bored in front of 2D screens, and I could sometimes see cameras off, or I could see students were there at 1 second, they were gone, and then the next second. So I tried to find some very effective and enjoyable ways to entertain and make learning enjoyable for my students. And that's when metaverse, the concept of metaverse rose, and it became required a lot of popularity from
okay.
people. And I realized, okay, this is it. So I wanted to learn more about this metaverse. So I searched and I saw that there's a huge potential, and then I thought probably that's the potential. That's the next step of education after 2D screen. So I took a course and at a place called Circus Stream. I became an XR developer, and then throughout the course, I had to get a headset. So my
Oh,
beloved XR headset, and when I first put it on, when I put the headset on, it was a different world. It was a completely different world. Yes,
tell
it
me about
felt
that, because
very.
that it's for people that I think it's easy to forget that like 95% of the planet hasn't actually tried a headset yet, and I've onboarded so many people, and it's always just this like it's like the first time you ride like a really big roller coaster. Like it's a full body experience, and it makes an imprint on you. So did that happen for you?
Oh, yes, definitely. I mean, you could basically divide the whole world global population between in those people who haven't tried XR headset and those who have. And once you cross it, you realize that there's a huge potential, and the world can be very, very different because it's extremely immersive. And so I thought that maybe you would feel a little different, but because it's so immersive, you forget your
Hmm.
outside world.
Yeah.
When I very first time wore it, it was virtual reality, which means everything was digital around
Hmm.
you.
Yeah.
And then when I took the headset off and I looked around, it took me a couple of seconds to realize that I was in my office space
Right.
because I was so into it. It was like a dream. Like when you're
Right.
in a dream,
Yes.
then you don't know
Yeah.
whether you're in a dream. It was basically the same for me. So I really loved it. Of course, there's a bit of it was a bit heavy at that
Yeah.
time because I was using Quest 2. It got so much better now.
Yeah.
Yes, but it was just amazing, and it also took me a while to get used to the console because I'm not really a console gamer. So, however, once I got used to it, it was just as if I'm using my hands. So.
Okay. Well, this is really interesting because like you saw the tech as a potential solution for a problem that you wanted to solve, as opposed to I think a lot of people maybe they don't have that. They don't go into it with that. It's like, let me try out this cool fun tech, and then the lights start going off. Like, oh wow, this could be. But like, so did that light go off right away in terms of like, I see how this is the solution that I'm looking for? Did you see it right away, or was it more like, wow, this is really exciting. I'm not sure how this is going to work, but I'm gonna explore and learn more about it.
hmm As I said, when COVID happened, I saw people getting suffering, the students suffering,
Yeah,
and so I was in search of tools to make
yeah,
things more interesting.
yeah.
So when I saw it, it was more like you said, it was a light bulb. I
Okay.
was like, okay, I could really put my teaching content there, and then try to develop something so that people really uh, take benefits out of it.
And you, I know that like you've built a bunch of skills, programming skills, worked with different platforms, different software. Did you have any experience as a programmer at this point, like before you put the headset on? Like, had you done coding? Had you done like any of that stuff, or are you completely jumping in fresh?
Yes, I was I was quite bold. I knew nothing about tech. I
Wow,
was never
that's
close to
amazing.
tech at all. Like I said, I studied development studies, national
Yeah,
planning, all those. I was teaching, so I was more of an art student. I never thought I would be more of a science or a tech girl. But I thought that XR is an extremely great tool, so I had to learn it. So I took a course and I started to learn more, and at the moment too, I'm actually studying for Unity certificate
wow.
to become a professional. Um, so yes, it was a journey, but I think it's really worth it. And yes, throughout that, I learned how to use Unity. I learned a little bit about Blender. I learned because I had to create some video content. I learned how to do DaVinci, Figma, all other tools. So I had to learn all those, and they have been very, very beneficial to create our XR apps.
So that, I mean, I think that's really remarkable, considering that you came from a zero code background. In the time that you've been in this space, you've like really gone deep and developed a ton of skills, because you're not just the CEO with the vision, you're not just the go to market person. You're not just the pedagogy expert, which you could be because of your teaching background. You're actually building the vision that you have. I think that's incredible. What's that been like? Like, for people that haven't had the experience of learning to code, even just getting into the environment and understanding how to even use the environment is like a huge undertaking, and then to actually become proficient. So like, I'm just amazing. Like, how have you must have spent just in an incredible amount of time to progress so quickly.
hmm for me, I think the progress, I feel that it's a little slow for me. However, but but I think it's not only me, but also I'm very grateful for my team members because of they are there. I could have come to all the way where I am right now. Without them, I could not do it. I'm not the best programmer, so I'm not the best designer or anything like that, but I do learn from them. One thing that I do, however, as a leader is that I feel that in order for me to create something effective and enjoyable, I feel that I have to learn at least every part of app development. So I try to take time and learn our latest technologies or the tools that we can utilize. And I try to go to different events and learn about the latest technologies or latest or any tools that can be very useful for my team members. And I learn about them as much as possible. And then I try to provide my learning in my team so that they can also benefit from them as well. So yes, it is true that At the beginning, it was quite intimidating because I was never a tech girl and I had to jump into this new world. So there were times I was really lost, but I always tried to reach out to people within the network or actually ask anyone who has the skills to give me some answers. I just reach out to them, ask them questions. Can you help me? Or can you give me advice? Googling, watching YouTubes, any resource that I can put my hands on. I I learned from them and I just progressed little by little.
So let's talk about what you've built.
So, as I said, we are focusing on cultural and education the content in XR. And because of my background as a Korean language teacher, we started with the language learning XR applications. The first one is called Core VR after my company's name. At Core VR, what we do is that you go into virtual reality in a Korean aesthetic environment and you learn Korean alphabet. We call it Hangul. And by shooting games, so it's similar to Beat Saber, but it has also
Okay.
food theme. So you shoot the letters as you hear, and then you learn Korean alphabet that way. That was published on Steam. So I try to learn within a short period of time how to ideate to launch an app. So I learned that. And right now we're working on two different apps. The first one is called Multiverse Kaiten Sushi, which is in mixed reality, meaning that through the camera of a headset, you can see your external environment, but you also have digital overlay on top of it. And in there, you become a chef, Japanese sushi chef in Multiverse.
Ah,
And
that's great.
yeah, and you collect letters on a sushi conveyor belt, and you get order from multiverse customers, and you assemble your Japanese letters, and then you create sushi and then serve them to your multiverse customers. And that's how we would like you to learn Japanese alphabet. And the third one that we're working on is called Core VR 2. So on top of Core VR 1, where you learn Korean alphabet, Core VR 2, in there you go into a virtual reality, which means everything is digital. And you go in, before it was more of a Korean traditional building environment. Now you go inside the Korean traditional house, which is called Hanok. And let's say you do mini games such as scavenger hunt, finding some some food ingredients, and also you have some grammar section grammar parts where you go and learn some grammars. You also do memory games so that you can increase your vocabulary. You also have a kitchen where you can cook and also learn and apply what you have learned based on all those mini games, and you apply to create some Korean cuisine. We're
Wow.
working on those two at the moment.
So where does the vision for that environment come from?
One thing that I learned based on my teaching experience is that the reason most of people, they learn languages because they're passionate about, they want to learn about culture. So I didn't want to isolate language learning as just language learning, just telling you grammars and,
Hmm.
make you just repeat vocabulary or letters over and over again. I didn't think that that was really fun because whenever we learned a bit of Korean culture, the students' eyes lit up, and
Hmm.
I wanted to take that. So I wanted to combine the cultural elements and also the language component, learning component together, so that so that's based on that belief, and then we call this a core learning principle in our company, and we wanted to gamify it so that it's more enjoyable. And based on that, I thought that, okay, in order for you to experience Korean culture, I mean, you can also go to Korea, but it will be very expensive for you to go to Korea via airplane. So why don't we bring Korea to you wherever you go, as long as you have a headset? So that's why we created Korean environment there. And also the Japanese alphabet learning too. We did extensive cultural research, and we also have a consulting person in Japan and we talked about, okay, what kind of sushi or menu is served in Japan, and what kind of colors, what kind of patterns do Japanese use when it comes to creating something, or the language terminology, what kind of language or what kind of terms do you use for, let's say, sushi making. We did a lot of consultation with this native person who's Japanese native speaker, and based on that, we also did a lot of forums and anime, and also some Japanese goods. Did that, and we combined with more of a innovative and sci-fi, so that it's more tech looking. And we combine all those and try to create more of a cultural and yet different immersive experience in mixed reality.
Okay. Um, so is Duolingo a dirty word in your lab?
Pardon, sorry?
Is Duolingo a dirty word in your lab? Can we talk about Duolingo? Do people ask you like, is it like Duolingo? I imagine that would be like the first thing that would come to people's minds. So how would you say it's different? Not just the obvious difference of putting on the headset, but I feel like there's actually a lot of differences that would improve, not just the learning of the student in terms of their ability to use the language, but also the experience of learning along the way.
Mm-hmm. Duolingo is definitely an extremely great app when it comes to mobile phone, and and then yes, like you said, a lot of people come to me. Oh, so it's like
Yeah,
Duolingo, and
that's
then
what I
we call
imagine. Yeah.
it yes, because it's the most successful language learning application. But as I said, Duolingo is 2D. And yes, they do also use very effective gamification. I've also
Hmm.
tried Duolingo several times to learn and review my Japanese. And also, you have tried Korean so that maybe my students who don't have headsets can use it.
Right.
But many times, my students actually, they come and tell me, 선생님, which means teachers, teacher, I've tried Duolingo for 2 years. I cannot form a sentence. So
Hmm.
because Duolingo doesn't really provide very structured learning, so they do bits,
Hmm.
and they felt that it was not truly effective. I mean, it can be really, really fun. However, it was not truly effective. That's the reason I realized, okay, we do have solutions like Duolingo.
Hmm.
However, I think I need to bring different parts of language learning, which I found more effective, into what we create. And that's one of the reasons why in Core VR 2, I introduced grammar section where you go and learn and do interactive games so that you can practice your grammar. So you can actually form proper sentences, which if you don't really understand grammar or you don't have vocabulary, it's like you don't have skeletons and muscles for
Right.
your body.
Yeah.
Therefore, you cannot really truly have a solid and strong body. And that's how I feel that. So there's that part. And Duolingo is 2D, so it's more of just a finger, with finger, you
Yeah.
swipe it. However, when it comes to XR and the Core VR2 or Multiverse Kaiten Sushi, it's 3D. So you hear, and then you
Hmm.
hear as if you're like the person or whatever the character is right next to you, and then you move your hands. So it's by learning by doing rather than just swiping or rote
Huh.
memorization, writing. It's you interact with items or objects inside your own environment so that when your brain is more stimulated, your hands become more active. Therefore, your learning becomes immersive
All these
and
lights are
also
going
more
off in
effective.
my head. Like, because ultimately the goal is not to be, I don't think the goal is to be able to fill in the blanks in a foreign language sentence, right? The goal is I want to be out in the world, or even if you want to say on phone calls, fine, but like I want to be out in the world with this language functioning and working out in the world, which is different. It's like practicing your jump shots, but never playing any games, right? Like the goal is
Hmm.
not to be able to just do the jump shot. The goal is to play the game, right?
Mhm, mhm. When it comes to language learning, there are two facets. The first one is about to understand the culture. For example, a lot of my students, they are very passionate about K-pop or K-dramas. So they want to understand the lyrics. They also want to understand what the actors or actresses are saying in the K-dramas or K-movies. So there's that part, which is more of an intaking knowledge and you process it inside and so you understand it. But the second part where this is what you're talking about, is about communicating. You have true output of say saying things and try to communicate with the person that you are speaking in the culture that you're interested in. And so a lot of my students, when they come to my class, that they want to really improve their speaking. So this is also when I have classes, I try to make them say things, but
Right.
also I try to stimulate them so they can form their own sentences, which Duolingo or other mobile applications don't really can be very effective.
Hmm.
That's one of the reasons why I feel that sort of using artificial intelligence in this area, AI, maybe it could be AI chatbots or correcting your grammar in some way. Those things can be very, very useful. So I'm trying to look at research more on that as
You're
well.
reading my questions that I've got up on screen. I wanted to ask you at some point about that, so we can do it now. What are your thoughts? Have you spent much time thinking through the role that, and I mean, like things are developing so fast. If you know, I don't think that most people in the world necessarily understand how quickly things are developing because this sort of like, you know, like ChatGPT released their browser like 2 days ago, right? And people are like, oh, ChatGPT can help me browse the internet. And the podcast I was listening to last night, they were like, this is ridiculous. Like the on the list of things that the tech can do, like helping you surf the internet is like so low on the capabilities. It's like it's doing a disservice in some ways, you know. So yeah, so what are your have you taken time to think about AI and how and the role it could play and not, you know, not to add another, you know, piece to your stack that you've got to learn and develop, but what are your thoughts there?
Um, those people who are in Nexar, we definitely understand the benefit of AI, and we really truly believe that in the future, in the very near future, the immersion or the combination of XR and AI will come, and it'll be the way to go when it comes to anything industry or education. And of course, when we talk about superintelligence or the higher form of intelligence where AI starts making its own decisions, I have no idea what's going to happen. I try to be positive about things what AI will do to our human race. But at the moment, if I just consider the current role of I think it can be extremely beneficial. It has helped me. It has helped core meta immensely as well when it comes to ideation or bug finding or learning anything. Um, but when it comes to learning, one thing that I also learned from my students is that everyone is very different when it comes to learning. Their learning style is different, but they're also the speed of their learning is also different. So this is
Hmm.
where AI can really help because AI can understand individually and then it can provide customized learning
Yeah.
materials. And so that's something that I'm really interested in. I'm searching. I encounter some language learning tools using AI. So of course there's the AI chatbot. So you go into immersive place that you talk with a chatbot and try to practice your language there too. I haven't found extremely effective one yet. So hopefully we can find some solution there. The second one also, it corrects your intonation or your
Hmm.
vocabulary. So shows you, this was a mobile app, but it shows your, let's say, intonation where it was wrong, the pronunciation. Those things can help. So AI, when it comes to language learning and education, I think it can be extremely beneficial and effective. And I am searching more of the use cases, and I'm also trying to create our own use cases within XR space while using AI so that the learning can be more effective.
Hmm. Okay. Yeah, there's one of the podcasts I listen to. They're funny. They they'll often say some remark along the lines of like, "We love robots, please." They're trying to say positive things about AI and about the robots. Just sort of like a tongue in cheek way to say like, we don't know what's going on, but if you do take over, we love you, and trying
Yes.
to build a little bit of rapport, I guess, or with the new overlords. Um,
Yes. You know, you hear people when they interact with ChatGPT, they try to put please or thank you. Uh, However, Sam Altman said it's not really necessary, but there are people also saying, no, but you have to be friendly with AI because you don't know what's going to happen
right.
between us
Yeah.
in the future. Yes,
Yeah.
definitely.
Yeah.
I mean, we always have to be very cautious and when it comes to developing something powerful like this that will affect everyone around the earth. But also, for me, I would like to know as much as possible when it comes to AI and also XR, so that if there's a huge change going, I would like to be a bit more ready
Mm,
rather than, oh my God, I didn't know that's going to come or I'm
yeah.
shocked. I'd rather know more about it so that I can be more prepared and be more adapted
Yeah.
to the new environment.
Yeah, the same here. I'm no doomer for sure, and I don't see, a Mission Impossible scenario where there's some kind of entity. I could be wrong, but I don't. That's not really what, and that's not really what I think will. There's a lot of concerns and a lot of scenarios I think that we will find ourselves in en route to that kind of dystopian outcome that probably wouldn't let us get there anyways. I do think absolutely, we have seen already people that are injecting a bit of code that they took from somewhere, and things go wrong because they haven't done their due diligence. And so I think absolutely there's risk and there's consequence. And there are already cases of, harm and destruction that have occurred as a result of I wouldn't say necessarily AI taking control as much as some kind of intersection between us and the systems. So I don't think I'm not a doomer, but I also am not naive to think that we don't need to be concerned at all because I don't think that's appropriate either. Um,
Oh, yeah, definitely.
but
Yes.
education and personalization, individualization is extremely encouraging and exciting for me. So I'm definitely optimistic in its application there. Um,
Mhm.
you so on the note of saving humanity, you participated in some UN event recently, which makes sense now with having the context of your studies at UCL. And was it the Cityverse challenge? Is that what it was?
Yes, so we recently participated in the United Nations Cityverse Challenge, which has to do with by using innovative technology, you try to create some system for a city, the future city, and because, like I said, I studied development studies, and it was about the Millennium Development Goals back then. Now they're focusing more of the SDG, Sustainable
SDG, yeah.
Development Goals. Yes, so I wanted to. Um, I didn't want to forget about what I studied, so I wanted to create something that can help people socially. So our team, we created Intangible XR. That's a virtual reality. This project has to do with about educating people who access the app, educating people about UNESCO's intangible assets. So you go in there, you learn about it. So we connected our app to data, the webpage of UNESCO Intangible Assets, and they learn about it based on that content. You get to go into maze, and then through there you get to go to a museum. So you learn more about those things, so that you I guess it's not really first experience, but more of this. Um, 1.5 experience of the UNESCO intangible assets so that you're more aware and be informed about very valuable assets that exists in our lives. So there, so we were shortlisted. So unfortunately, we were not finalists. However, we were shortlisted, and the trailer when we published it on YouTube, it had quite a positive feedback. People liked it. They thought it was really great. So yeah, that was a very good experience for
Hmm.
sure.
Um, that's fantastic. Congrats. I mean, that sounds like a really big accomplishment. Um, you also announced recently a partnership with the University of Toronto, I think, which also seems like pretty exciting stuff. What's going on there?
hmm So this one is sort of so my ultimate goal is innovating education, not just language learning. The reason I
Hmm.
chose language learning is because my teaching in language learning experience, language teaching experience. So I wanted to learn how we can use XR not only language learning but in different fields of education. So I was fortunate enough to be connected to a professor at U of T and through my one of our developers. And so through there she was interested in creating some kind of educational modules for her own students. So that's where we formed partnerships. So currently we are developing educational models in XR in so the subject of chemistry.
Fantastic. That's incredible. Congrats. That's great.
Thank you very much. Yes, it's quite exciting to expand their field and to learn what's going on in different sectors of education and also in XR.
So on that note, before we go, I want to hear all about MetaConnect, which you went to, I believe, on the live stream. I think I saw you on like the red carpet or something before the big show.
Yes, I mean, I loved every single moment of MetaConnect. I went to MetaConnect last year too, but I got to attend the main event, which was a keynote and other workshop developers workshops. But this year, I was also because our core Meta is part member of a START program, Meta START program. That's the program to support developers like us. And then I was invited to Developers Summit. So 2 days before the main event, I participated. I attended workshops. I talked to Meta people, and I got feedback. And we did talk about our app with Meta people who are in charge of supporting our app launch. And so I learned about what they're trying to focus on and what they want to achieve through us. So I learned that through during the summit. The main event, I got to learn about a lot of their AI tools. So there's a new studio that's coming, also the spatial SDK. Those things I tried to try them myself during the workshops. Tried to create on my own app using AI tools. And I realized that Meta is really, really focusing on AI tools so that the whole development
Hmm.
application can be extremely easy for people, non-coders or anyone just with ideas. Of course, I realized that it still needs a lot of work. It needs a lot of work. However, they're trying very hard and they're trying to get there. And I think it will come before than later. And so there's that. I've also tried the Meta Ray display. I do own Meta Ray sunglasses and I love them. I use them every day. Michael, we also had a meeting and I forgot to bring my earbuds. So I tried my sunglasses to listen to you. And I tried that. I was driving. I saw beautiful
Hmm.
fall leaves, and I was recording while I was driving so that I can share with my family and friends. I really like. I listen to music all the time, so I love that. But display has another feature, right? Which is you actually have a UI
Hmm.
interface where you can see people when they talk. You have subtitles for them also, so you know what they're talking about, and also you can see the display explaining, let's say, for example, you're looking at an art piece and it explains to you through audio, but also shows you on UI so that you can read them so you get more accurate information. Unfortunately, I did get to try the handwriting, which
Hmm.
everybody's really crazy about. I haven't tried that one. I would like try that in the future. So I really liked Meta Ray Display. I was regretting that, man, I should have bought my glasses 1 year later. But, eventually the next one, I don't know when I purchase them, but the next model probably have better features. I'm looking forward to them, like oracles or yes. So the products that and the progress Meta made, I was impressed with them. I am excited about them too. And then one thing, of course, I learned all these great tools and progress Meta makes, but thing that I really liked about Meta Connect is you actually connect with people who are in the same space. Because if you know, Michael, you experienced it too. Probably if you're outside your bubble, your community, then people don't know exactly what you're doing. But at
Hmm.
MetaConnect, everybody knew what you're going
Right.
through, the
Yeah.
pain points, the challenges,
Yeah.
the happiness and joy. And then they're really passionate about XR. They're passionate about AI. We talk the same language, and you learn so much from them. And you feel part of the community. And I felt that MetaConnect really tried to bring everyone who think is similarly and try to make us believe that we're all family and that we're a very good community, so we need to support each other, and then they will also support us. So I had a great time there for sure.
So this is really great because we've been in both of us have been in the space for a while, and we've seen the shade that's been thrown at Mark and the shade that's been thrown at the metaverse, and while they don't have legs, now we've got legs in the metaverse, and there's just been this ongoing critique, not too different from AI, right? I mean, the Will Smith eating spaghetti thing, right? Where it was like, this is so terrible, this is so awful. And like, is anybody laughing now? Like, now we're suddenly like, oh my gosh, deep fakes, you're going to ruin everything. Um, and it feels like you still have that optimism and that vision that the tech is not done yet, that it's still evolving,
Of
that it's
course
going to
not.
get better,
Of
that there's
course.
still people out there building and excited to work in that space, which is fantastic. Um,
Uh-huh.
so so are you before we finish up, who are you interested in meeting, connecting with, people listening? Are you looking for interns? You're looking for hiring? Where are you looking for more collaborations like with U of T? So let everyone know who do you want to meet?
Mm-hmm. Yes, definitely. We are looking for interns who would like to increase their portfolio and improve their portfolio.
Great.
We're trying to because we are early access launching our multiverse kaiten sushi, which is Japanese alphabet learning app, and we're a little struggling when it comes to social network platforms marketing. So it'd be great if we can get some help from there. We do have a great team who's researching at the moment and trying to come up with some plans, but interns who would like to learn from us and also maybe suggest some great ideas for to us, and that'd be wonderful. And also who'd like to learn maybe XR a bit more. We do have great developers, but maybe you would like to learn from them. That'd be wonderful as well. Yes, we would like to expand our reach when it comes to XR. So we are actually talking to another professor at U of T and also a museum so that we can really deliver effective education regardless of the field of education. Eventually, I would like to. I'm also looking for a mentor who has gone through similar experiences, what I'm going through, some innovative tech, a female founder, it could be a male founder too, who has, however, achieved it and made their business a real business with effective revenues, because I need to learn more about that. So I'm looking for a mentor. And also, I'm the also founder of my company. I know that I'm wearing too many hats at the moment, so I would like to share, unload that hats and put my hats onto somebody else's so that we can effectively create core meta. So that we can lead XR and AI in education space. Yes, and then I would like, if you are interested in learning more about us, please follow us on LinkedIn. We do have a core website where you can you could be on the wait list or you could be a tester. You could do that as well. And when our app is launched on Meta Horizon platform, please join us and experience and give us feedback. Yes, we are looking for all potential fans and potential
Lots
users
of
for
love. Looking for
applications.
lots of love.
Yes, yes, please. Yes, yes.
That's great.
And so far, yeah, those people who have tested at the beginning was kind of difficult, but we have to improve a lot. So we are getting more and better and positive feedback. And then the concept itself, it's amazing. It's very, very, uh, the feedback has been very positive when it comes to the concept, and also the interaction is getting a lot better too. So I would like you to try and everyone to try it for sure.
Okay. Wow. I feel like inspired, motivated, energized. I want to go home and get my headset and explore. This has been fantastic, Miji. Congratulations. Like, wow. Like, what a story so far. I'm excited to continue following you. And thanks so much for being so open and sharing about your journey. Thanks so much.
Thank you so much for inviting me, Michael. It was very fun.
Okay.
Thank
Have a
you.
great day. We'll see you later. Take care.
Yes, bye.